Welcome to the Entrepreneur Power Hour, where we help engage the world's entrepreneurs, have fun while doing it, which, hey, that is possible. You can learn and have fun because today we're talking about how to create profitable and educational online courses. Now, you might say, Kareem, would somebody really be interested in buying what I have? Do I have any knowledge? Would I be able to teach anything that anybody would pay for? And for a few years ago, I would have said no. I had my own doubts. I had my own thoughts about it. And I said, no, nobody would pay for something I'd want to teach. But as I got more skills, as I learned more, as I spent time learning WordPress, videos, public speaking, different things, got really good at video, I decided, hey, there's some things I could teach online, but I wanted to get the input from the guys here and see, how do you really do it? How does one go about just creating a course online? So we're going to center this discussion around it. I have my co-hosts, Dan and Bill Maybauer. What's up, guys? And I want to start out, guys, diving into this, because if we can figure this out pretty well, we can go on Udemy, Skillshare, Teachable, and start mentoring people, start teaching, and then have people come to us, maybe start being the authority. And the great thing is, once we create courses online, they're there. Anyone can access them from anywhere in the world. I think that's pretty exciting. So first, I want to ask, have you taken any courses in the past online? Is there any courses? And if you haven't, have you done any masterminds? Have you done anything online education-wise?
I've done stuff through a site called ACAX or something. It's an accounting type um, place where I did some accounting coursework and stuff to help refresh some of my skills and update some of my skills. And I actually really liked it. And courses I took were free. They were online. They had actually a skilled instructor. It was somebody from halfway around the world, but it was still they were still good and knowledgeable what they did. And there was curriculum we followed. We had assignments. We had things to do, and I liked that. And what was nice was it didn't really cost me anything. It was just the time and energy it took to put into it, and I was in charge of myself, making sure that you know. Um, I had to do it. If I didn't, nobody got anything out of it except what I put into it because it was up to me to do it. Um, is there do I think if I would have paid for it? I think if I had the money, I probably would have because I felt it was valuable to me to help give me updates and brush up on some of the skills I could do without having to go back to school and update on some of the latest things, going back to say, taking the courses at a university or something. So that's my little bit.
What about you, Mr. Bill? Any thoughts on this? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And what I've found is a lot of times I'll watch the video or get trained on a video, but they'll have a product behind it that they will want to sell or market. I took TaxBot is one example, and then they had the product that you could purchase afterwards, and a variety of other things. That the video was free, the training was free, but then you had another thing to go behind it. That's what besides just some general free learning, but most of the time that's what I found, at least from what I've been seeing.
So let me share my experience. I had a lot of different online things I did. I did masterminds like this. I did mentoring for free. Obviously, we're doing the Power Hour, but I started to do Udemy courses. One thing I really liked is I wanted to learn something. Someone would mention it. And a lot of people would say, oh, that's too hard. How are you going to learn that? Or let's suggest even going back to college. And I said, whoa, wait. I'm going to spend $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on this. Udemy has a course that they put on sale for $5. So I started taking stuff on, well, let me see what UX, UI design is, which fancy thing for graphic design. Well, that's pretty cool. Could I learn that? Could I learn how to make logos? And then I self-taught a lot of myself, just video stuff. I just, Googled what's a cool, way to make whiteboard videos or animation videos, and played around, and I still play around. So I've done a lot of different online courses, in the sense that sometimes I just had a curiosity. How do you do that? I heard someone making a radio voice, and I said, well, that's cool. Well, I bet I could make a radio voice. And then I think it's two things. I think it's straight from that innate curiosity of, I want to know, I want to learn. And then also spreads for, hey, can I find something online that I would a lot easier than college? And that has actually been the case, funny enough. And doing that, I've learned stuff about video. I've learned stuff about how to present myself, going to Toastmasters 2 offline. And really, I think what it comes down to is not so much trying to go out and say I have to take course after course after course after course after course, because I didn't enjoy that. I didn't really like that. What I really wanted is something that would stimulate my mind, something that if I was interested in, I could just pick it up and learn. That's kind of why I fell in love with online, because knowledge was right there. It wasn't super expensive, and it could be taught by someone who was actually having fun. Imagine that. And I said, hey, bring this to the Power Hour. We can teach online, and we can teach good courses, and we can get paid to do it finally. And the nice thing is, when I found Udemy, I said, hey, I'm making all these videos. I'm making videos on Fiverr. I'm getting paid okay for them. But what if we could take some time, learn some skills, and actually get paid online just to teach? So that brings me to my next question, if I can. When you're watching a video, let's say you watch this video or another video, or you're watching, does everybody here watch YouTube or some type of video on their phone? What makes you feel engaged when you start watching videos online? That you're just like, wow, that's an amazing video. That's educational, that's motivational. I'm not talking about like, ooh, the cat video was funny. I'm talking about, what's a video that really captivates you, made you feel engaged, made you feel like, wow, it was motivational, but I learned something. Do either of you have an experience like that? I'd love to hear it. I'll unmute Dan.
When I was learning to blog and stuff, and some of the things, because I went through some trainings with some webinars and stuff like that, but I also did some looking up online and looking at some things, and going and doing some research for things that might help me a little better with blogging and stuff like that, and found a couple things. Sorry, I've been up since 4, so
All good.
I'm getting tired. That that kind of fit into how I look at things and how I deal with things, but that was still a little fun and kept it kind of light and and stuff like that, to where it kept me engaged and kept me wanting to continue on. And I think that's one of the biggest things is, you get people that are either they get very serious or very certain type or certain this, and you get others that are way over the top, and sometimes hard to find that middle of the road type of person. And I think that's more where I'm at. Middle, they have a little bit of a light side, but they also have the side that can convey and get across what they need to get across.
Any thoughts on that, Bill, with some type of video you watched, something you watched online that you said, wow, this is going to change the world, or at least it changed my life for 10 minutes?
The world for being video, or they're giving me assignments, or they're giving me tasks to do, or something that I would be taking notes. Interested in learning, that I would be active in it. A lot of times I sit and watch a video, just play games while I'm I've got to be, get so involved to, otherwise it just goes in money for me. or something like that.
You got a little bit robotic there, Bill.
He left and then he joined again, so I think he was having some troubles.
Yeah, he had some connection.
Well, yeah, I know in a few areas I have connection issues, so.
Anyway, yeah, I think he's traveling on a bus, so he has connection issues. So let me tell you videos that really got me. A lot of them were Les Brown videos when I first started because he was powerful. He had a strong message. The music really actually helps. Right now I'm watching a lot of Alan Watts videos. I love the philosophy aspect and the laid back interest. So I'm trying to create something when I create courses that's really motivated me. Something powerful with a strong message, a strong personality behind it, someone who really knows what they're talking about. But I don't want to be that guy who's like your professor at high school because that didn't inspire me. What inspired me is people who have the passion and people who are also simultaneously able to be laid back. So I can be laid back here going, hey guys, your time's running out, but I'm chill about it. And then I'm still going forward every day. And what I'm going to do on hopefully Udemy is go with my Presentapreneur course, how to make effective online presentations and offline presentations to gain more influence and revenue. And with that, I'm just going to start out how to make videos online, and then I'm going to have courses, how to give presentations offline. Just keep working and working that, because that's what I was inspired by. I saw public speakers online. I went to Toastmasters meeting and said, hey, I can do this. Not only can I do this, I would love to do this. So since Bill's having some issues, it'll just be me and you, Dan. I wanted to ask, now we're talking about videos, did you have a favorite teacher in life? Do you have a favorite teacher? And why? What about them makes them an awesome teacher?
I actually did, and it was one of my high school teachers, and actually I had two, Mrs. Daniels or Miss Daniels and Miss West. One for history and one for my accounting. I actually took an accounting class in high school. That's where I kind of fell into it because when I took it, I was good, and she was a teacher who taught, but she kind of let us do it, and she let there were like three of us, or two or three of us that were kind of more advanced than the rest of the class. So she let us go around and help the rest of the class. After we kind of figured things out, we were going through things, when we'd have assignments and stuff, she would let us go around and help them because we knew and understood and got caught on right away. And she engaged us, by letting us take what we understood and shared it with our classmates, rather than it just coming from her and being rhetoric and just over and over and the same thing, and teacher to the student. It was teacher to the student, and then from students to students, helping each other out. And then Miss West for history and stuff, things like that. She made it fun. She made it come alive. I mean, I can remember in one of our classes, we had we did Continental Congress, where we had delegates from like the first 13 colonies before they actually really started doing the, getting things set up for, doing the federal government and stuff and things like that. But it was and we actually had, we were delegates for different states, and we had to argue our points, our views, or our stuff as to why this needed to be done, or why that needed to be done, or the other thing. Ooh. And I loved that part because I loved debating. I never got into debate, but I love, go back and forth of going with, well, this is why I see it this way.
Dan jumped up on a table. Mr. Washington, without a strong union, we will never be able to unite the states. Without a strong union,
I wasn't like that. but I was a lot like I am now. I was very, I was able to put forth my
Okay,
thoughts and views,
my
and I
bad.
wasn't afraid.
Let me fix it.
I,
Mr. Washington, without a strong union, we can't rock and roll. How are we going to get the ladies, man? Got to have that strong union. You know what I'm saying? All right. What were your thoughts on it?
but it was, that give and take, that going back, and we actually held, and and then I think I ended up running for president too
All
at one
right.
point. And that
Man.
was fun too, going through that process in the class. It was just interesting because she engaged us. She didn't just sit there and put stuff back or tell us to read the book. She brought it to life, and that's what made it real, and that's what made it like interesting and fun. And that's why I still love history to this day.
Well, and actually, let me give you my perspective on history class, because I have a love-hate relationship with what happened. A lot of them would give me a book, and they'd say, okay, here's a worksheet. Here's some letters in bold. Read through and fill out the letters. Well, great. I would go find bold letter and write it in. After a while, I stopped doing it. They're like, Cream, you're not doing any work. I'm like, this doesn't really feel like work. I'm not learning anything. I learned more, literally, from playing Call of Duty, if you know what that is, video game, on World War II, and watching History Channel before it had Pawn Shop and Chumley and all of the friends on there. I learned more from the History Channel, playing video games and media about World War II than I did. So the classroom. So I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't really my thing. I said, hey, even they're asking now at work, they have little trainings. They're like, what we can do to make it better? What can we do? We want your feedback. Stop this lecture-based stuff. I'm not against someone lecturing because obviously I want to make courses, but I don't like these, okay, watch me. Here's what I'm going to do for 10 hours and just follow it. I'm like, okay, here's a step. Can you do this? Or here's 3 or 4 steps, reproduce, boom, boom, boom. Even when I'm learning something now, one thing I like about online is offline, they'd be like, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's where you go. Here's where online I go, pause. Let me see if what this guy's telling me makes any sense, because there have been people in my life that say, hey, here's a tutorial, here's an idea. And then they do this at work all the time. They'll run through something. They'll say, do you understand it? I'm like, not really, no. And they're like, why? Because I haven't done it. Let me stop doing it. Let me go back and do it. And then I bet you I can figure out everything you're saying if you'll just let me get some hands-on work. That's why I really like Sean as a mentor. That's why I also really liked my college professors, particularly my academic advisor, Brother David, because he sat there and let me play with, it's not super important to know this, but command line Linux. He was like, okay, see what you can do. Just here's a command prompt, just start typing. Well, someone say that's not really good teaching. You're not getting a ton of instruction. Sometimes hands-on is the best instruction. You wouldn't necessarily think that with how we're taught. We're taught to, here's a step, repeat, repeat, repeat. And
that's all we learned in mentoring for free, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just take steps and do shit and see what happens. But then, no, it's been really good. I was listening and laying down. I just caught a bit of a cold from this weather change we keep having, so I just needed to rest. But no, I'm really happy that we found Sean, because he's taught us how to really, really apply what he's taught us, which was what we needed, So I'm really happy that we found him. And same with Isaac. Isaac's really good too. Showed us the way, kind of deal, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much showed us the way. He said, which way do you want to take? I have a pretty good idea of what way you should take. Like, the nice thing is Sean knows the answer. Like, the problem I have with teachers is they know the answer, and then they try and tell you it, and then you tell it back.
Yeah.
It's basically hardcore memorizing what I got in high school. Whereas a really good teacher, what I aim to do on Udemy, Teachable, Skillshare, wherever I put my courses, is say, hey, here's different paths you can take. Here's what, if you're on this path, would likely be the best path.
Mm-hmm.
But how you get there, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because everybody wants, and I see this problem a lot now, everybody wants give me a formula, I'll do that formula, and if I do that formula, I get the result. Well, if life was that easy, then just give me a formula for everything and then I would do it. But it's not. That's life, you know, things are sporadic, things are crazy, things happen. And that's why I love the teachers, mainly being my academic advisor and Sean, because they didn't just give me an answer. They actually made me work for it. When I have to work for it, when I have to use a little bit of thinking, then I don't need the mentor I don't need the course anymore. I can go out and do it. Not only can I go out and do it, I can go out and monetize that skill now by teaching other people how to do it. So based on that, since I was talking about the skills and what I was learning, Sean was instrumental in teaching us how to really think like an entrepreneur, which it's pretty great skill. And then Isaac's helping us with marketing. Those are two skills I really like to know. But I'd be curious to know, what skills do you guys want to learn, or information, if you don't want to learn any skills. What information or skills would you like to learn right now, and how much would you pay for it, roughly? Doesn't have to be an exact number, but I'm curious. If someone came up to you and said, hey, teach you anything you want, and I'll teach you at any price you want, but what would you ask to say, hey, teach me?
I think for me it would be one, how to better monetize my blogging for that, because I like doing that. I just need to get back into that. Two, I think I would like to learn, I'd like to get better at video editing and stuff and things like that. That's another area. And then for me personally, for some like kind of fun and something just getting back into some music stuff and finding somebody that could either, whether it be online or, I would love it online, because then I could, take the time and do it, when I have the time, how to get back into the violin, because I think I did find something. A friend of mine sent something. I think I lost that link, and I'm would love to find it again, but I'd have to get my bow strings replaced. But that would be a very personal thing. Ooh. So those are a couple of things. I probably have a laundry list of things that I could go through. I just have to sit there and really think about them. But right off the top of my head, I think the two I did mention would be things I'd really like to get better at.
Video editing is fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun to learn. Definitely. Basically, because if you have to have a passion for it, then it makes it a lot easier. I'm very patient with the software for the most part, especially with Vegas. It's extremely intricate, but when I get the Vegas Pro Suite, it comes with like Hollywood level effects, plugins, 3-dimensional intros that you can, it's just insane what it comes with, and I really can't wait to get it so I can learn how to use all those effects and everything too. So and it's another skill we can charge. We can upsell Vegas as what did Sean say?
We do it in different ways.
What?
You can do it in different ways.
Yeah, but I mean, we can charge more for particular videos because of the work involved, basically. So it's going to be a lot more work when you get into the higher end stuff like that. They do different things, and plugins are rendered differently, and I haven't seen how to use them yet, but I'm pretty sure I already know how.
And see, here's the interesting thing Dan was saying, and like I have some WordPress experience of how to set up, and I've seen that's real popular, and then we figure out how to monetize the blog. And the fun part is I could do a course where I'm setting up a WordPress site, then I say, okay, let's get some knowledge on how to monetize the blog, and then me and Dan get in here on Zoom and then do something. We put it on Udemy, and then, hey, suddenly we have a passive income stream if people jump on it. And I think some people, because blogging is not dead. I mean, I know it's going towards video, but there's still a lot of bloggers. So that's one cool thing, Dan. We could also, make a video editing course or something around video editing, teach the basics of it, because I know
I personally don't think blogging will ever really die out. It might morph into, you know, a little bit different aspect than where it's come, but it's been around for quite a while. It's still around. I don't think it. I don't think it will really ever go away. It's just gonna kind of change because I love to read, so you know. But I also like to have a little bit of something that engages with it. You know, and the little, like when I've done my blogs, I've added little videos that go with them and stuff and things that kind of go hand in hand. So that's, you know, that's why I want, you know, the video editing and that, so that way I can end up getting to where I can monetize better, to where that is where that kind of is what I can work with and build on, and then for anything more and above, maybe then lead into you guys and say, hey, if you want advanced in this, I know just the people that can do that for you, or advertisements or stuff like that. They're the people I could say they're the people I use for my advertising. Cool. This is where you go and stuff like that. That's, you know.
And a skill that I really want to learn is selling. That's what Sean and Isaac are teaching us, is the art of selling. And because when we're out there pitching brick and mortars, that's a skill we're mastering, because we've got to get out there and find out what works and what doesn't work. So I think learning the art of selling people is going to be really cool.
And that's a very unique skill, and it takes a very certain way of doing it.
I'm really excited to learn that one, and I'm really happy we've got the help to do that. That's really cool. I'd pay for that money rolling in. I'm giving them some cash for helping us out and everything. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be paying Sean and Isaac for their time once we can. Definitely. I'd pay for a selling course. I'd pay like $1,000 to learn how to sell easily. And it's because I've discovered what my own skill set is worth, right? So I'm thinking about my skill sets and what they're worth, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if somebody's taken as much time to learn the art of selling as I have put into video production and editing, then that's worth $1,000 for a course, at least. So I'm kind of thinking of it from a perspective of paying that person adequately for their time, adequately for their skill set, adequately for the devotion they put into learning that, because that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. So 3 not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty cheap, actually, for a 3-month course. When there's coaches or people out there that charge $1,000 an hour, you know, I mean, it would all depend. Of course, it would all depend. But, I mean, you can't really learn a skill in 1 hour. You can learn the basics of a skill. You can have it explained to you. But you can't learn it in 1 hour, 6 months.
And at that point, you would have to give adequate compensation for that, because you actually know the value of what the two of you have gone through. So therefore, you would understand the value of paying somebody.
That's right.
For that time and energy.
Yes.
You get enough of information and stuff in that hour for that $1,000, because you probably won't get what you really are paying for.
Yes, exactly.
So at that point, that would make me a little like, you're going to teach me all this in an hour?
Yeah.
And you're charging me $1,000. Let me look around and find somebody where maybe I can find somebody where it's more worth my time. Might cost me a little bit more, but in the long run, I will get more out of it too.
Makes sense.
That's the other side of it, and that's how you look at it, I think.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because the more time somebody's put into something, the more, I would say, the more in-depth they're going to be. They're not going to be like, yeah, I can teach you how to do this. And now, unless they're trying to just take your money and run. I mean, those people are pretty easy to spot. I mean, they're like, oh, I can teach you this in 2 hours, and you give me $2,500, I'll teach you this in 2 hours, and then you'll be well on yours on a course. Because then I know the person's put the time in and willing to work with me one-on-one and willing to make sure that I'm following instructions and they care about my success, not just getting the money for their time. So yeah, that makes sense, Dan. It makes a lot of sense. Anyone there, Kareem?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right. So let's break it down. We came up with some good stuff today. Basically what I've come up with, and I like this, is get material that engages you and the audience, have them hands-on, have them doing things. Be a teacher who's exciting, sporadic, motivational, but also is laid back. You don't want to like squeeze people to death, obviously.
Yeah.
And have fun, have a passion for what you're doing. And if you have that, here's what I'd suggest. Because I've been doing some research. Here's what I think. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a few different things you can do based on what we talked. If you want to teach somebody, just teach over Skype or Zoom. There's different alternatives. I don't think there's one way to teach people. Found a website called Conversi. They're new. They're not getting a ton of traffic, but you can teach someone like, okay, I want an app. I'd love to network with wedding vendors. I'd love someone to keep me accountable on my goals, this and that. You can also post your own stuff. But the cool thing about this is, let's say you want to teach vegan cooking.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Vegan cooking. I like this idea. I don't know. I'm not promising this website does anything because it's new, but I like this idea. It's kind of like a very basic mentor thing. These people I don't think are pre-qualified. You just come on and like say, I can teach. I'm trying to do something more sophisticated than that, but you know, teaching philosophy, musician. I like this idea. I think, and if you go to conversi.com, you can try it out. I think it's pretty cool. The one I've been talking about with Chris is Udemy.
Yeah, I'm building a course on there right now.
I don't think I have to do a ton of introduction. Great online courses, is discounted. So, hey, get in there, make some passionate videos. You guys said what you'd be interested in paying money for to learn. Chances are this. I don't think we're too far out there. If we would pay to learn something, probably somebody else would too. I know there would be people who would pay to learn how to sell. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Yeah. So you could figure out a little bit how to do that. Damn, if people pay to learn violin, people pay to learn monetize a blog. And all you have to do, you say, Kareem, I don't know how to do that. That's confusing. Okay. I'll go literally blog or blogging for beginners or how to monetize a blog. Boom. And then literally what I would do if you don't know is buy their course. Costs you $10, $15, at the most 26 bucks.
There it is, $27 that was regularly $100.
Cheaper than college. And here's the nice thing. You can actually return if you don't like them. You can ask for a refund. And what you would do, just buy a few of these, watch the videos, see what you can learn, see how you can teach it better. I think we all have the capability to especially watch stuff and teach it better. And that just comes from good note taking, or teach it in your own way, because they might be teaching a certain way and people might not find that boring. Funny enough, I haven't found that people on Udemy are necessarily video gurus. They're not necessarily making hardcore the video editing guys are good. Outside of that realm, I'm not seeing amazing, but their information's good. Other one is Teachable, Udemy's competitor. And it's pretty similar. This thing is pretty similar. It's a nice website. Done over 100 million in sales, they claim. Another one is Skillshare. Not as sophisticated as the other two.
I've heard of Skillshare.
Yeah, I haven't really played with it. And then, nice thing also I forgot to say about Teachable is, there's YouTubers, there's niche experts. They do break it down, and this is pretty cool how they do it. Like you can teach, you'd be like, "Oh, who's your go boy? I want to learn about this." You can find like stuff for your doggy.
Who's a good boy? Is there a cat in here?
Yeah, that cat.
You're talking to Malefic. I'm like, he's not behind me right now, but okay, great.
Who is your go boy?
That is a good boy. Look at him.
You can learn how to be a trailer park boy. You take the animal course and you take the YouTubers course, and then you wear some weird ass "Hi, I'm Bubble." Like Ryan teaches how to make more than money by being an indie musician. Does anybody here want to be an indie musician? I take that
Here's
as
a good
no.
boy. Look, I found a good boy.
See, that guy's pretty
Wait,
cool.
some of those indie musicians make some good money.
Yeah, and enroll for $100. And here's the class curriculum. This isn't insane. Introduction, why the old model's broken. I agree with that. Creativity and contacts, commerce, your life, your business, creating a spark, creative collection. And one thing I really want to stress here is, guys, the information I've found on Udemy and the courses is good, but two things. The videos aren't necessarily Hollywood production level, unless it's a Vegas one. I don't want to speak for that. And the information's good, but I think if you really watch it and you get past all their, pitches and I'll do this and I'll do that, the information isn't. I found very few courses that I would say they're good, but it's not super groundbreaking. It's not like they're Herculean things. It's basically actually information that you could come up with after a while. Not saying that you're going to teach a coding class. I can't teach a code. But you could figure out a lot of this stuff if you don't know it. And it's not something like maybe they'll teach you with psychology. Here's how you do these things. You say, oh, I knew some of that. I already knew a lot of that. So get on Skillshare, get on Teachable, get on Udemy. If you want, get on Conversi, teach. Fiverr's not the place for that much, but you can mentor people if you really want to do Fiverr. You could do mentoring gigs if you really search for it. There are some people who mentor on here, funny enough, helping people with their career. I don't know if it's the best way to do it. Like someone is funny enough being a mentor on accounting, tax, and finance. I don't know if this appeals to you, Dan. And they've done okay. They made 138 reviews. That's kind of funny. So you can actually mentor people if you really want to start on Fiverr as well. Not the best place because it's not necessarily geared for that. It's more gig economy as opposed to what these are designed for. Udemy. Conversi is kind of in the middle of that. It has, you teach people, basically it's gigs, but it's not like a $5 gig, like boom, boom, boom. Like they would pay $30 for 30 minutes and you teach them. And if you just want to create courses, you're like, I don't really want to interface with people on video. There's Udemy. I don't know still how to say it. I've heard it both ways. There's Teachable, and there's Skillshare. So hopefully that's good information to get you started.
Yeah, I've been putting together my Udemy course. It's been going well. It's a lot of work though. I gotta put together at least, I guess, like 15 lectures before you can qualify a course or something like that.
There's also one last thing. You can go to JVZoo, ClickBank. I'm not going to get all of them, Warrior Plus, and teach your courses, but that's a little bit more work. You have to create all the pages, you have to create all the marketing, and you probably have to create a membership site. The nice thing about these guys is they'll host it, but what everybody suggested to do is, start on other platforms, get really good, and then say, okay, now that I have the money, we have WordPress Profit Builder. We can actually show people how to do that, and I'm getting better with it. Create the page, get your own traffic, get your own marketing, and then start selling products. But the hard part about that is first you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to build my sales page? I'm going to market people, then I'm going to get them to my course. And you probably want your own platform then. You don't want to just send them videos in a zip file. because they can take that and then share it with all their friends. So you want to have a membership website to have all your content safe. So that's my little thing on how you would start teaching online courses after you do it. And I'm figuring out the membership website. I'll get into that later once I get better at it. So, hey, all of this profitable online course, you're like, hey, how do I make a good video? What goes into a good video? Hey, guess what? We can help get more customers for YouTube, or maybe if you're taking
For your business through YouTube, you mean?
Well, yeah.
You said for YouTube.
So.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
We don't want to confuse people and go, oh, we can get more customers for YouTube. What?
And basically, if you want to learn, maybe, hey, I get my skills up. I get, something, maybe I need some acting. How can I get a whiteboard video? Kareem, I'm good with whiteboard videos. I want an animation video to explain this or that. Rockstar Entrepreneurial Starters, but let's just shorter it down to Rockstar Starters and go there today. And let's see what we can do for you, get more customers for your business through YouTube marketing. And we have a 30-day promise in case you don't like something I did. Maybe I stuttered during a whiteboard video. Maybe somebody cussed out the animation character. Don't worry about it. We'll fix that for you.
Yeah, we do that for full 30 days after purchase. There's a questionnaire here that we need you guys to answer to so that we know exactly what you want in your video so we can get it right the first time.
And then you can go about us.
And if you don't know what different types of videos are, we have a supercuts section. At least it was there. Did you move it?
No. And then we also have our services. So that's basically it. Go to Rockstar Starters today. Get your video on so you can get this on. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming to the Power Hour. I want to thank Dan Sissick, Chris Peters, and Bill Maybauer. And guys, check out those websites. Start to see if you can make courses. I know you guys can teach stuff. So let's start teaching stuff, making a little bit of extra money. Because, hey, if we're on Zoom making videos and teaching every week, why not monetize it? All right, guys. Have a great night.
Later.